What's going on, guys? Your boy LQ, Mr. Real Deal Fantasy HQ, fire content only, here to bring today to the table that everybody has questions for. Mark Ingram is a Saint. So what does this mean for David Johnson? What does it mean for Mark Ingram? What does it mean for Philip Lindsay? No, not Rex Burkhead. He will not be mentioned in this episode, so please don't hit the comments talking about no Rex Burkhead. Come on, are you serious? We haven't talked about him forever. So this is the most I'm going to be talking about him in this intro. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into the episode. So Mark Ingram is a Saint. He's back with Sean Payton. He's back in that 1-2 punch with Alvin Kamara. Very exciting to see how this works in a 2021 offense with Jameis Winston. Sean Payton not having a Drew Brees. I definitely feel as though things have changed, but Jameis Winston doesn't look that terrible. He's not turning the ball over, which is the great news. But he's back in an offense where that 1-2 punch was beautiful. We saw Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram be fantasy relevant. I think this is on the table. So I'm just going to keep it short and simple with Mark Ingram. If you see him on the wire, you go pick him up. He's in a Sean Payton offense. Sean Payton knows how to get that 1-2 punch going. We had Latavius Murray, basically fantasy relevant last year. I know they're kind of upset they traded him. They had a lot of plans for Tony Jones, but he faced injury. He just didn't work out. So therefore, Alvin Kamara needs a break. He needs a guy that's going to give him, some type of spell, some type of, time where he can rest from the sideline and that running game can still be effective. So Mark Ingram is on the wire. You need to go get him right now. You need to try to get him. And if you have a stash, if you have him stashed, shout out to you, man. You are the GOAT, because I'm one of those guys that have Mark Ingram in about 2 of my leagues, and I'm very happy he's on my bench. So therefore, moving forward, I'm going to have him as my flex if this 1-2 punch is going very well in the Sean Payton offense. But let's move on to the David Johnson side of things. Looking at this from a David Johnson end of the trade, he definitely gets a boost. He doesn't have to worry about Mark Ingram taking those unnecessary touches, taking the red zone touches. Mark Ingram having 26 carries in week 1, that was just like, why did you sign David Johnson? Why did you give him a contract extension? Why'd you pay him, basically? And then you bring in a Mark Ingram and then a Philip Lindsay. It was very weird how the Texans were doing things. I feel as though David Johnson definitely gets the boost, being that he's already currently number 2 in team targets. That's behind Brandon Cooks. So that was already on the table for David Johnson. So he gets a boost there, being that he's already leading the team as well in the running backs and snap opportunities. So therefore, it may not have looked like he was the guy, but in snap opportunities, he was the guy. So being number 2 on the team when it comes to team targets, you're getting a boost there because you're going to be on the field even more now, higher than that 44%. Now, the Texans aren't a crazy running team. They're ranked 17th in rushing attempts per game. That's tied with the Packers. That's 24 attempts per game. Maybe this gets a boost up, being that Tyrod Taylor's on his way back. Tyrod Taylor had that offense looking good the first 2 weeks before he was injured in that Cleveland game. That offense was able to move downfield. They're running the ball a little bit effective, and they had a lot of scoring opportunity. I know you remember week 1 where Mark Ingram, David Johnson, and Phillip Lindsay had touchdowns. Amazing, right? Receiving touchdowns, rushing touchdowns, everybody gets a touchdown. I definitely like how Tyrod Taylor had that offense looking. And hey, we were all wrong. The Texans offense, the defense, they're not as bad as we thought they were. So I feel as though moving forward with the offense under Tyrod Taylor, we can get some fantasy relevant points out of David Johnson. 30% roster exposure right now. He's out there on the wire just sitting there floating. So if you can, I would go out there and get him, being how thin running backs are. You're not going out there. You're not going to find a guy that's going to be having 20 touches per game out there. You got to get some of these guys like a David Johnson who brings something to the table, and that is the PPR upside. Now, to touch on Phil Lindsay very quickly, he's the pure runner. I don't see him getting a lot of targets out of the backfield because we haven't seen it, for the first 7 weeks. So I don't see him being like, let's say, a pest. I don't see him being fantasy relevant. I don't see him really being worth a stash. 17% roster exposure right now, though, for Philip Lindsay. So if you do miss out on David Johnson or even a Mark Ingram on the wire, you could go ahead and pick up a Lindsay just in case. He's more so on my watch list. I'm not losing any sleep if I miss out on him, if he ends up being the guy, if he busts off or whatever the case may be. I just don't see it because we haven't seen anything the first 7 weeks. No real flashes. Like, there wasn't a time where, like, oh my God, there's a Philip Lindsay sighting. Like, you know what I mean? So I think David Johnson pulling in those 8 targets, bringing in those catches, I think we know what we're getting out of David Johnson on a PPR standpoint. So that's why I'm leaning more towards him than a Philip Lindsay. So I definitely feel as though, moving forward, we need to start looking at David Johnson as a flex option, as a low end, RB2, maybe RB3 going in for the rest of the season. And I can see that happening, with Tyrod Taylor back and healthy. Hopefully he stays healthy. That's what's most important. So I definitely like his matchup going into this week against the Rams. Now, we saw pass catching running backs like DeAndre Swift, Chase Edmonds. They put up big fantasy points because they were able to get it done on the ground. Chase Edmonds put up 120 on my Rams. Then you got Swift that's getting screen after screen after screen, getting catch after catch. That can easily be a mixture of David Johnson, being that he's able to get it done on the ground and through the air. So if they go into this week game planning, because you could run on the Rams, it's disgusting how many big runs I've seen happen from a bunch of nobodies. Like James Conner having big runs. Like I said, Chase Edmonds put up 120 on the Rams. So pass catching running backs are very, very like a smash play when they go against the Rams because our linebackers suck. We just traded, Kayvon Young, our best basically playmaker linebacker, to the damn Broncos. I don't know why that happened, but this isn't a Rams video, so I'm just going to keep it on David Johnson. So, like I said, I like the matchup this week. So if you're absolutely hurting at running back right now, David Johnson's out there again. 30% roster exposure. So he's out there for you. I love this trade, honestly. It just opens the doors because just last week I was tweeting, just a couple of days ago, actually, I was like, it's annoying how the Texans are using the running back. A three-headed monster that's not in a necessarily good offense doesn't make sense to me. Give one guy the ball. I understand there's a guy that can block, there's a guy that can catch, and then there's the guy that just runs. It doesn't make sense that you're splitting all three when all three are capable of it. So it's kind of annoying, man. So that's really all I got. Hopefully you guys go out there, you go get a David Johnson, or if you miss out on David Johnson, go get a Phillip Lindsay, I guess, stash him, put him on the watch list. Like I said, I'm personally not running out there to go get a Phillip Lindsay. I'm shooting for a Mark Ingram, or I'm shooting for a David Johnson. Those are the two head honchos that I really want in my roster for the rest of the season that can bring in some points, that can put some points on the board, because right now I'm in a situation where Alex Collins is my quarterback. Devontae Booker is my quarterback, running back. Why am I saying quarterback? But running back. So I'm not too happy about those selections, but if I can get a Mark Ingram that existing in a very good offense with Sean Payton, hell yeah, I'll sit at Alex Collins, I'll sit at Devontae Booker, etc. Whoever else I got in that little starting lineups in those leagues, it gets real scary. But yeah. So hopefully this helped you out. Hopefully you guys like and subscribe. Leave a comment below on what you guys think about the trade. Please like and subscribe. I'm almost at the 1,000 mark. Please, I'm trying to hit that today. Let me hit that today while you're watching this. Let me hit 1,000 and we can be good to go. So I'll see you guys next week for another great episode of Real Deal Fantasy HQ with your boy LQ. Peace.